Hi everyone, this is Joy and welcome back to my channel. Now I made this video to correspond with Altenew's Fashion Monger Dahlia layering stamp blog hop, so definitely check out my blog for all of the details for this hop. Now here is this beautiful stamp. This is the Fashion Monger Dahlia layering stamp. I love Altenew because they give you these guides to show you how to layer each one of the layers for the flowers and the leaves, and on the stamp itself, well, on the plastic that the stamp is on, it has in order, like it says A1, A2, A3, or B1, B2, B3, however many flowers or leaves you're going to see in which order to stamp, but then you have the guide to help you. So I'm going to start off with the first layer for this flower. Now I will say in the future I would kind of do this layer last, only because I am doing some gold heat embossing. So I prepped my paper with a powder tool, stamped it with the VersaMark ink, and now I'm coming in with the gold embossing powder, and I'm going to heat that through until it's melted. Then I'm going to continue with the rest of the layers. Here's why that was a bit of a problem, even though I continued to do it throughout all of my images. When I layered this set, or this image right here, the second image, this is a solid image, and so I'm inking that up, and it was really hard to get into all of the crevices. As you can see, the center there was left white. I came back in later and added more of that, and if you put enough pressure down, it works just fine. But I would probably do it using the #1 layering stamp as the last one. So the colors for this flower, I am using the Seashore collection. So it has Mountain Mist, Volcano, Lake, Lagoon, and Emerald. So I'm starting with the lightest, of course, and then working my way up to the darkest. The center piece actually has 2 pieces, but I didn't need that. I only used 1 since I did the heat embossing with the gold. So I'm going to finish stamping up this flower, and I'm going to do a second flower, and then I'm going to be doing some leaves. And I'm just coming in with all of these colors, and as you can see how beautiful this comes together. And this is where I realized, wait a minute, those center pieces were not meant to be white. So I'm coming back in with the second layer, inking it up again with the corresponding ink, and really just pressing down really good to get the ink into those little tiny pieces between the the embossing powder. So when I'm done with this one, I'm going to do the center. Again, I'm just doing one of the center pieces because I only need 1. But there is 2, so if you're not using the embossing powder way, you would use both center pieces. I just cleaned my stamps between each one. I flipped my paper around, and now I'm doing another flower, and I'm using the Tea Party collection, Pink Pearl, Coral Bliss, Heartbeat, and Vineyard Berry. So I'm just doing all the same thing, except for here I took my ink pad and just kind of colored in those spots that were not getting, so I could just kind of move on with the project. But I'm just going through from the lightest to the darkest, again using just one of the centerpiece dies to finish the stamping. And I think these flowers are gorgeous. I think the colors are gorgeous. The color combinations that you can do with this are fantastic. And again, I just love these layering stamps from Altenew, and I love that they have their guide. It is so helpful to know where to line up your flowers. Then I've got the leaves here. There's 2 different sizes of leaves. I actually did this 2 more times off camera, but I'm doing the gold embossing powder again, and something I actually liked this way, and I would probably continue to do it in this order with the leaves, because when I stamped my first layer of ink, I had to stamp it really good to get in between all of those embossing lines, but it left some really light areas, so it was like natural highlights, which I really, really liked. So I had to go about this about 3 or 4 times, I think 3 times, yes. But you can see there's some highlight white areas there, and I really like how that turned out. I just cleaned my stamps, and then I'm coming in with the second layer, except for that second leaf, I put the same stamp on, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And so I had to come in with the next layer. Did a little bit of the darker ink and just pressed down really firmly. Again, I'm just using a rag to rub on my Misty, but I know there's tools out there that you can use for that. I am going to use the coordinating dies to die cut all of these images out. I'm just taping those in place. I'm just using some low tack tape for that. And then now I've got my A2 sized white card base. I am taking some green ink. Oh, for the green, I use Tropical Forest, Bamboo, and Parrot and Olive. That's Tropical Forest. I used Bamboo, Parrot, and Olive from the Tropical Forest line, excuse me. I just drug that across my paper, And then I came in with some VersaMark ink and some gold embossing powder, and I'm just kind of wiping off the thick lines of the embossing powder before I heat it because I just wanted a little bit of gold going across. I am going to trim this down about 1/8 of an inch on all sides. And then I'm going to line up my flowers and my leaves. I'm adding some foam tape behind some of them. Other ones are just glued directly to my card panel with some liquid glue. I'm using the Barely Art liquid glue. And I like to lay out my card ahead of time just so I can kind of play with it. I'm not brave like some of these other awesome crafters that just kind of just glue it down. Maybe they already have the vision in their head. I'm just not that great. I'm coming in with a white gel pen and adding some dots to all of the petals of the flowers. Then coming in with some gold foil pearls and just adding those in and around. And then I'm going to do the sentiment. Now this is going to say from me to you. I'm just stamping it in black ink on white cardstock. Then I will just trim these out with my paper trimmer. I want to keep that really simple because between the flowers and the background, it's a pretty visually busy card to me. So I'm just going to keep this simple with a black and white sentiment, trim it down, and I'm going to add some foam tape behind both of these, and that will give that some dimension along with that beautiful pink flower that has some dimension too. And then this card is finished. So like I said, this is part of a blog hop, so go check down below for my blog and go there for all of the details. You don't want to miss out. But I love this beautiful stamp set. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this project. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, comment, thumbs up, like, and share, and I'll be back soon. Bye.